สวัสดีค่ะ
Hello, everybody.
Good morning from Bangkok, Thailand. My name is Chotong, Program Director at the Thailand Environment Institute. This is my pleasure to be the moderator for the seminar today. For your information, the seminar today will be conducted mostly in Thai language. The foreigner participant, you can find the interpretation channel throughout the seminar. ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะท่านผู้มีเกียรติทุกท่านนะคะดิฉันเบญจมาศโชติทองเป็นผู้อำนวยการฝ่ายสถาบันสิ่งแวดล้อมไทยนะคะวันนี้จะรับหน้าที่เป็นผู้ดำเนินรายการสัมมนาในหัวข้อการพัฒนาประเทศไทยไร้ขยะการลดและก็เลือกใช้วัสดุทดแทนพลาสติกแบบใช้ครั้งเดียวนะคะยินดีต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าสู่การสัมมนาในวันนี้ซึ่งการ
Our seminar will have participants who are both from Thailand and also from other countries who are interested in the works of on plastics in Thailand. So in this seminar, we will be speaking in Thai, but because some of our guests are from other countries, we will have an interpretation function for the whole seminar. And you can go into the interpretation button at the bottom, and then you can choose to listen in English as well. For our questions today, we will receive questions through the chat room, which we normally use. If you have used Zoom meeting before, but today we will use the Q&A function instead. You will see the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. If you have any suggestions or comments, you can send it to us through that section. We will have 3 sessions for the seminar today. In the first session will be the welcoming speech from our representatives. We also have the pleasure to have the Director General from PCD in Thailand to talk to us today as well and to give us the national policy on plastic waste management. After that, we will have a panelist session. We have 5 speakers who will be speaking with us, as you can see in the screen that we showed you. After that, we will have the introduction to a central platform where we can have, we would like to invite all the private sectors and other people who are interested to join us on the platform and then work together to manage the plastic waste problem so that we can reduce the environmental problems. And in the third session, it will be the Q&A session that we will answer the questions that you have raised, and we try to respond to those questions and maybe create an understanding between our panelists and also our participants. And I think today is now the time according to our schedule, so I would like to officially begin our seminar. First of all, we have the representative from ERIA, from the regional the economic center from the institute. Actually, in Thai, we call the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and Asia. Today, we have Mr. Kochima, who will be giving us the welcome speech and also talk a little bit about ERIA.
So I would like to invite Kochima-san to give the welcome speech to the audience, please.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. First, allow me to express my sincere gratitude to the Thailand Environment Institute for co-hosting this webinar with us. As a representative of Regional Knowledge Center for Marine Plastic Debris area, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Mr. Athapo Kaloen Shunsa from the Pollution Control Department of Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of Thailand for representing the government's kind support to our activity. My special thanks also go to Ms. Sumit Nithanom from PPB Plastics, Mr. Napapong Yuberk, CAPSEA Project, GIZ, Mr. Buyul Kim, owner of Sit the Shop House, Mr. Wee Chat, Kitty Latin Aparibon from GRACZ, and Mr. Suasui Ondam from Kao Industrial for agreeing to lend your time and insights in this event. It is my pleasure to welcome our audience to this webinar entitled Toward Plastic Waste Free Thailand, Single-Use Plastic Reduction and Replacement. To give you a bit of background about who we are, the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia, uh, with the with the financial assistance of Japanese government and the support of the ASEAN leaders in 2019, established the Regional Knowledge Center for Marine Plastic Debris, uh, which, by the merit of its name, has a mandate to be the information clearing house on marine plastic debris in the ASEAN plus 3 countries to support ways to address this pressing environmental challenge. However, plastic waste is a multi-sectoral issue which involves policymakers, the private sectors, consumers, and the research alike in order to find comprehensive solutions. As one of the main stakeholders in eliminating marine plastic debris, the private sector has many potentials to innovate new technologies and products in addition to reducing plastic pollution by the use of alternative materials, reuse, recycling, proper waste disposal, and others. Even so, one company alone will not be enough to change the whole economic system. The private sector still needs some inputs, such as technologies, raw materials, equipment, and customer or products or services to keep improving their innovation. Therefore, to disseminate the initiative of the private sectors, we have developed a website for private companies to share their good practices in the region last year, which hopefully could allow business to learn good practices from each other, share ideas, and form partnership toward sustainability. We know that Thailand, there are interesting public and private partnership program and some initiative efforts to innovative effort to tackle the marine plastic issues. I am proud to say that some of these big innovations will be presented here by our speakers, which we will dissect further by answering questions from the audiences. We hope that this event will be informative to all of you, and there will be a few interesting discoveries and takeaways that you can share with your one network. Also today, we will focus our attention on one country in particular. We hope that many of the success and challenges from Thailand will provide mutual learning opportunities for the whole ASEAN Plus 3 context. With the intervening nature of our economies, our supply chains have been developed beyond the borders. And when it comes to transparent the issue, like marine plastic debris, it will be important not just for different stakeholders to come together, but also for entire ASEAN Plus 3 member states to join forces. To finish my remark, I would like to thank our speakers once more and welcome all the audience registered from 20 different countries. I hope you enjoyed today's event. Thank you very much.
ค่ะขอบคุณมิสเตอร์โคชิคัตสึโคชิมะนะคะซึ่งได้กรุณากล่าวต้อนรับ
Thank you, Koshima-san, for your welcome speech and also giving the importance about the collaboration between the different sectors from every country. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Vichart Simasaya, the former minister of the Department of Natural Resources in China, and right now he's the part of the committee for the BCG model in Thailand. Can Dr. Vijan please give your welcome speech? Thank you. Hello, everybody. Representatives from ERIA and Kojima-san, and also the Director General from PCD, Kun Attapon Chansha, and all our panelists and participants. In the name of TEI, or Thailand Environmental Institute, and also Thailand Business Council for Sustainable Development, and the president of PPP Plastics, the PPP Plastic is the project that we have initiated with the collaboration from the government sector, private sector, and from civil society, who will together work to reduce the plastic waste in Thailand. And we work for the Thailand Council for Business Development as well. And in the recent years, months, we have many projects that we worked with on the PPP Plastic initiative. I think Rayong today will be here to share with us from Kun Sapti to tell us about what has been going on. We're very glad, that is one of the projects that the private sector has been helping with us as well. And in the urban area in Khon Tey, in Pathumwan also, these are some of the cases in the urban projects. And also we have developed the drop-off points, around 300 drop-off points that will collect the expandable plastic waste. And there are some progresses on this as well. And however, we can see that the plastic challenge has been continuous, especially in the COVID situation. We see that the use of plastic wrappings in Thailand, especially from food delivery and packaging, has been higher than normal. Other than that, apart from reducing how to use plastic smartly is also an important issue. In the past, TEI and PCD and also the DMCR have been supported by the World Bank to have a brainstorming session, and we drafted a marine plastic management plan. But we already had a plastic waste problem already, but we did not included the full on marine plastic, the full session, but we have used that session to collect more information and ideas about the marine plastics. Then we link it to the national and also ASEAN's national plastic management plan, which is also Thailand's mandate. So we can see that there are, step-by-step progress on this, and we do give importance to management of marine plastics, especially when we get, the information that many of the marine plastics waste come from the land-use plastics. So, while at the same time, the vulnerable areas, which are the islands, are being taken care of as well. Because we have been given more attention to manage plastic waste in terms of circular economy. We have given many research grants to find a way to manage the plastic waste. But management from the source is also a very important thing. So if we're not going to use plastic, what are we going to use in place of it? I think we will get some ideas from our panelists on that sense today. And then also, if we need to use it, how can we how can we intelligently manage the plastic waste? And maybe circular economy can be applied, but how can that be done? Maybe we'll hear a bit more about that today. And the national strategy has a roadmap of managing plastic waste as well. And most recently, on the 8th of February this year, the government declared that they give importance to BCG economy, or biocircular green economy, which is especially when you talk about circular economy, which I work as the president for mobilizing this agenda. And then the plastic waste is one of the main topic for, for piloting or for mobilizing the circular economy team. So I think that that's part of the development in Thailand. And I think that is something that we have to learn together. And then we need to see how can we use the past knowledge to mobilize our work and also to mobilize the work on plastic management in the region as well. As in this term, Thailand is also the head of the ASEAN community for this term. And think the PCD's Director General will also talk to us a little bit more about that as well. We will get several examples today, I think, especially how many stores are looking to reduce the consumption or the use of plastic materials. But, if we do use plastic, we have to see how we can use it intelligently and how can we recover it in the system and how can we manage it better. So I hope that our seminar today will be a learning session, a sharing session for everybody. And, from what Thailand has been worked on, but we also would like to learn about from other countries. What are your challenges and what are the problems that you're facing and how you have managed it so that we can, go through it together, because as we know, the plastic waste is a borderless pollution, especially in ASEAN, where we know that this problem is something that affects all of us. If one of our countries produce a lot of waste, then every country will be affected, and if we cannot manage it together, we will have a lot of problem. And now in the ocean, we have the microplastics in the ocean that is a common problem for all of us, and it's something that we have to work on to find a solution together. So anyhow, in the name of TEI, I would like to welcome everybody, all the participants who are in this seminar with us, all from Thailand and also from other countries around the region as well. So today, I think that we will get to learn from each other, and also you might learn something from our experience in Thailand as well. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vichan Sumachaya, Director of Thailand Environment Institute, and he has also been working with plastics management in Thailand with many other groups as well. And today, he has also emphasized the importance of plastic pollution management, as Kojima-san has already said in the beginning as well. So next we will be hearing from Mr. Atapon Charanchansa, Director General from PCD, who has be here with us and will give us a brief overview about the policies in Thailand. May I invite Mr. Charanchansa to give a short welcome speech and also give us a brief on the Thai policy. Thank you. Thank you, Kun Benjamin. สวัสดีครับ Hello, Dr. Vichan, คุณมิชิคาสุโคชิมะ from
อาเซียนและเอเชียตะวันออกนะครับท่านผู้เข้าร่วมสัมมนานะครับซึ่งวันนี้ก็
I think from the numbers we see today, there's many participants in our panel, in our seminar today, over 200 persons. It's a very good sign to have so many people, and also representatives from many countries, whether it's Vietnam, Malaysia, Japan, Indonesia, Philippines, and also representatives from academic institutes. We also have representatives from other government institutes as well. Many private sectors, whether it's from PTT, from SCG, the pollution waste management companies. So I think with the vast variety in this seminar, it will be a platform that we can share many information, and we can use examples from other countries for Thailand as well. So I think yeah, and it will be good for us to also learn how we can collaborate with other countries as well. As Dr. Vijan said, Thailand has always given importance to this issue. I think ever since the Thai year is 2557. That's 7 years ago. Thailand has given importance to the issue of waste, especially in the plastic pollution or plastic waste. We have a national strategy and a target that we should reuse the plastic waste as much as possible. I think we try to reuse it, recycle it 100% by the year 2030. So we started to work on that in the year 2020. I think on the 1st of January, the initiation started on the reduce of the plastic consumption for single-use plastics. We were successfully able to achieve our goals at that time and had cooperation from both the society and also the private sector. And it gave us a very good optimistic thought, because it became like a fashion and then started to be embedded into the mindset of the people in the country. But when COVID-19 hit, everything changed totally. Everything considering like from the numbers of plastic consumption, from packaging, and before maybe per person is like 0.8 kilograms per person per day, but it rise drastically to like over like 3 kilos sometimes. This shows the amount of plastic waste that we use every day on a daily basis. There's like from food delivery, and also that makes us see that we have to give it more importance. But we can see that the cooperation that we received from the private sector, especially from all the from the shops, the malls, we have gained cooperation from them. We can see that from our survey, we had the reduction of single-use plastics, like the thin plastic bags, by 43%. And the plastic cups were reduced by 32%. And the production of foam containers were reduced as well. But, by 20%, but still, it's not successful according to our target yet. So anyhow, we are trying to make sure that this year, the government has put into the policy that the foam food containers, which is really thin, will be banned within this year, and other types of plastic that are too thin as well, they cannot be reused. So, but this is, some of the things that the government has to try to mobilize throughout the year as well. We are facing quite a bit of problem with the plastic waste that, go out into the environment and other ecosystems as well. And also, and in the end, sometimes, evidently it goes to the ocean. So this is one of the problem that we have to tackle. Like, as we can see in the ranking in Thailand, we went from 10th, ranked 10th of the polluter to now 6th. I think it's, even though we are able to solve some problems, but I don't think it's enough. So we have to try to work harder on this. And like our friends in ASEAN has said that, when we talk on the plastic waste management in ASEAN, as Tanwara Wood has said, that we have to cooperate with other people in managing and working to solve the problems of marine plastics as well. So the government have to try to control that so that we don't import plastic waste into the country. And we have set up the committees to monitor the electronic waste as well. So these are the 3 working groups that we have. So for the waste management issues at the present, Thailand banned import of any type of waste. So we also control the plastic waste utilization as well. This is the new and urgent issue that the cabinet has issued. Now there are some operators who try to import some types of plastic waste, like that is used for electronics and engineering productions. But that has to be considered case by case. And also we have some of that in the free zone or the free trade zone, but we try to eliminate that and then reduce it as well. So that, in hope that maybe these companies will use the plastics within the country to use as their raw material instead. So the policy of the country is quite clear on that. We talk throughout the ministries that we have to reduce the import of all types of plastics, plastic waste. Other than that, we have also issued the policy to all the relevant agencies so that they can set out the rules and regulations so that they can reduce the use of single-use plastic, and also maybe allow only the use of recyclable plastics or biodegradable plastics or compostable plastics, which is biodegradable. The plastic can be degraded by the normal conditions. Because we don't want to use only the degradable plastic, because it will have impact on the environment. So it have to be compostable plastics only. And we have now, got the agencies who are involved to issue the laws relevant to that issue. Other than that, they have some in the Ministry of Industry to implement the draft. And businesses and operators also cooperated, and they joined in the team to reduce the single-use plastic production. So the thin plastic bags, the plastic glass, and also the plastic straws. Right now, we are not allowing any more production factories or facilities to be built for these items, and we try to reduce the production so that in the end, it will be changed to other kinds of materials. But some people may still need to use these types of material of objects because of certain needs. But anyhow, by the end of this year, we will try to reduce the production of these 4 types of plastics. So this is one of the first steps to reduce single-use plastic production. But other than that, we still have to look at the overall picture of how we manage the plastic waste that are produced in the country. Overall, in the last year, we have 2 million tons of plastic waste, and only 25% have been recycled. The rest, or 75%, have been disposed, both formally and also illegally. So some has been incinerated, but the rest have been sent to landfill, which is not quite right way to manage this kind of waste. The best way is to separate all the plastics and then clean it so that they can be reused, so that they can change it into some other products. So this is one of the the topic that we've been talking about with the private sector and also the civil society, and also people who collect the waste as a living. We try to set up a platform for this issue, and we have received assistance from both the private sector and the government sector to create a platform that can link all these wastes together, from the source to the end of the line for use. So this is something that Thailand is trying to build, along with creating awareness for the people. So all this is important step. Like we want the people to have awareness about, throwing away the waste, how to use the materials only as needed. We use Japan as one of our models, and many other countries who have successfully been able to manage all the waste in the country. So one of the things that we have to, we consider as urgent is that we have to make the people aware of the importance of the consumption of waste. I mean, this is maybe even more than how to separate the waste and how to change it into other products. But the awareness on the consumption of the material is very important. So under the Thailand's policy, whether it's on BCG or circular economy, or what Mr. Prayut Chan-o-cha has said at the COP26, the solving the plastic waste problem is one of the process that will be required to be implanted in all government agencies. And every government agency must have an indicator on how they can reduce the, plastic waste from their institutions. Now, we have at our ministry, the Ministry of Environment, we calculate for every section of the ministry how much waste we produce and how much can we reduce, how can we reduce the use and consumption, and also how much can we recycle from our waste. And we will use that as the example for the people, and we also use our action to share with the local agencies, the local government agencies, so that we can use that model to help support the people in society. Because whether it is like the sub-district people or the local administrative authorities, they are very close to the people, and they deal firsthand with the communities on waste management and waste elimination. So if the local authorities are strong and are strengthened in this sense, then and it will be better for them to solve the problems on waste management. I think in that sense, it will make Thailand as a whole stronger in solving the waste problem. So I would like to summarize that for Thailand, we are happy to share our practices and learning with other countries in the region and also in other countries around the world. And I think for our roadmap today, we talk about the roadmap on how to reduce and reuse plastics. I think this is something that we all have to help promote and make happen. And so it will help us to achieve our goals together. And lastly, I would like to thank TEI and all the agencies involved, all the co-organizers for today's event. And I hope that our event today will be successful and will be useful for solving plastic problems for everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Director General Kun Atupon Chalernchansa from PCD, who has also emphasized to us that Thailand is driven to solve the problems on plastic waste. And in the end, we have some work that has already been done, but we have been progressing step by step. And even though that we haven't achieved our goal, but we still got a lot of cooperation from the private sector and every sector in the country. And most importantly, we would like to gain cooperation from the people, which is the most important thing. So thank you very much on that. And we will continue to work with the government to mobilize towards our target together. I think we have a question that for the PCD, some people are interested about the reduction of plastic waste on a monthly basis. I think that there are people who are following up on this information as well. So that's I'm very glad to see that. I think maybe in some parts you might not be able to hear some. We will give you, the organizers will give you the number that you can contact us, and in the end we will show you the link where you can get the PowerPoints that have been presented as well, and you can download it from those links as well. Next, I would like to invite our panelists, and in this session we will talk about the cases where we can use alternative materials for plastic and also other ways to help solve the problems for plastic waste from the single-use plastics. Today we're happy to have our panelists. I might not be able to say your name again right now, but I'll invite one by one. First, I would like to invite Kun Somjit, who is the head team in the Rayong model, and has which is the work on from the PPP plastic, who support the work in this session. And Kun Somjit is one she's a female who is very important for our process. So she's been working with us throughout the process, whether it's selecting the waste or how to choose the materials. Today, Kun Somjit will give us a little bit on the Rayong initiative. She prepared a lot of information, and but we will try to ask her to give the information to us within the 10 minutes time slot, and then we will share the slides, PowerPoint from her to our participants. Next, I would like to invite Kun Somjit Nimthanom to talk to us about what has been done in Rayong. Thank you. Kun Somjit, can you please turn on your mic? สวัสดีค่ะ Today I would like to represent the PPPT project, our Rayong Less Waste project. Our project has been supported by AEPW, which is the Alliance for Plastic Waste. Okay. So I would like to give you a brief background on PPP plastic, and then we'll talk about the activities in Rayong and then our achievements that we have achieved in the past 2-3 years. As you can see, the PPP plastic has started from the industries involved in plastic production, and also the government sector. Ever since 2018, we had around 15 agencies who came together as the PPP plastic. Then in 1 year, we have 33 organizations, and right now we have over 40 organizations joined in our initiative. So let's see how we work. So the functions in PPP plastic is separated as task force system. The Rayong activity is like use the circular economy model system. We try to see how what can actually be done and carried out. So for our part, circular economy model is one of the model that can be used apart from the urban models. So in Rayong, the first problem that we found is that we had how to create participation and how can we gain people's interest to come and work with us. So the first thing we did was we went to talk to the governor of Rayong, and we had the team from Bangkok go to Rayong and talk to the local administrative organizations who are the main people responsible for collecting waste in Rayong area. So it's like a district or sub-district level organization. So in the first year, we had about 18, we had 28 organizations and 250 participants who worked with us. And, as an initiation, we signed an MOU together for the cooperation. After the first year, COVID hit, and the activities that we had in line, had to be postponed. And then when the COVID situation lessened, then we went to the governor again, and they changed the governor. So we have to renew and redo the MOU again. So we had the online MOU session together to declare the cooperation and participation from the organizations. So, this is the, after everyone has agreed online, they have their signed copies of the MOU. This is the Rayong model, what we work in. So we have the companies who are the working teams in the area. So we have like 4 or 5 companies as shown at the bottom of the slide. Our director just said just now, like not one company can work on this alone, right? So it's a cooperation between many people and many sectors. So when we want to communicate to people about the plastic loop, like after segregation, like what happens to it, not only that we put it in the dump site, but we can, collect it, and then we have cleaning, and then segregating the waste, and then before putting it to recycle or reuse, actually the plastic that we can recycle or reuse must be clean plastics, and then it can be used again. And the general plastic waste, we have to go to the elimination facility. So from this picture, people say that it's easy for communication. So these are some of the products that can be produced from recycled plastics. So we try to use all these pictures to show that, actually these materials are something that can be produced from plastics, from reused plastics. So furniture or clothing, so from in the beginning, people cannot really visualize what can be done, and so they have to really go see the facility on site to get to know the feeling or to better understand the system. So this is the photo taken from the tour of the facility. So we took our PPP participants, to go see these facilities of how the reused plastics can be used. So this is the waste segregation system, this is the provincial facility which already used the segregated plastics to use as fuel for energy. Some, not everybody goes, but some of those who are interested and would like to go see, we take them to go to the facility to see what can happen. This is the graphics that we use to explain what kind of plastic are there and how can we choose or change these type of plastic. But this is quite difficult for the normal people to understand. But on the right is, an easy explanation that the local people can understand. So these are some of the main activities that we do. The main thing is that we have to try to make people understand. And when they understand, they will participate and also, give more cooperation to our work. This is some of the examples of our members from the Rayong PPT. Some of the companies that we have expanded to, we try to get them to clean and separate the plastic waste. Now, some of the communities not only work on their own waste, but they also buy the waste from surrounding areas and then help clean and put it into the system. So this is also an example of our main work that, we try to give people better understanding. because sometimes we just give them the, tell them that there are 7 types of plastic, blah, blah, blah. People don't understand. But if we really show them what we can do with it, then they will understand better. These are some of the local products that have been, scaled up from our initiative, and sometimes they might require some more technical assistance, but they can develop it from their own products as well. For example, the plastic blocks and some from the artificial rattan baskets that, so, they use the plastic strips instead of rattan, and so it also becomes an activity for the elderly people, for the community, and then we help them with the marketing. So, creating awareness and participation is important. So we have, the provincial events or activities. For example, the World Environment Day activity. We choose those kind of activities to help disseminate information and knowledge. And so apart from the communities, we try to embed the awareness to the schools, to the students or children. So we train the teachers first, and then we have the school model where we, have bring in the teachers to be informed and work with us. And once they are more confident to communicate to their students, then, they go back from the workshop and then they use the theme at schools. This is our team in the various areas. So the school has taken the activities to use in their schools, especially the government schools that are taken care of by the municipality. They have some activities started on the waste segregation as well. This is the most recent event that we have. So before we just go to the municipality schools, but now we have moved up to the a bit older kids, and this school network will have about almost 300 schools. We try to introduce our project to the school administrators and all the elementary schools in Rayong to join us with the activities. So we first start with the activities with the students. So at first we started with some small projects and activities with the elementary schools under the municipality's care. And so we have, the leaders in the students group that, come in and learn with us about the types of plastics and how to segregate them. This is the activity that the school is already doing. They already separate the organic waste, the plastic waste, and the paper waste. And also the municipality give trainings and workshops for the children already, especially at least, on plastic waste and also dangerous waste. Now, all the companies that are within our team, they also work with the students on this as well. But we can see that some of the communities, after they have came to the workshop with us, then they go back to their community to try to apply it. So we set up our manual for these communities from the lessons learned, so that so these work is easy to understand, and the process and the steps of work are simple. Then it will show them the whole cycle. But one thing that we have to emphasize with them is that for the work, for the full cycle of work, it cannot be done within 1 year. So you have to plan out how you work, but everything is all summarized within this report, so that people can learn from and use to apply. Actually, right now the target in Rayong is that we want to work throughout the whole province, our 68 municipalities, right? But now we have 35 municipalities who have signed the MOU with us. I think this year we have had 18 municipalities started to work on it already, but this year we will be able to expand to more municipalities. Formerly, we were, sending many parts of the waste to the elimination facility, but now we have like 200 to 300 tons of plastic waste that we extract out from the plastic waste, that so that we can use it to recycle or to sell it for to be used for other products. So this is something that the Rayong people are quite proud of. But anyhow, we can still see that even though we can use more waste, but still the amount of waste produced hasn't reduced at all. So we still have a lot of waste that are sent to the elimination facility. So the consumption per person, it's higher, especially from the daily practices as well. So in summary, I think that from our project, even though if we want to set up a circular economy system, we don't need people to come and tell us what to do, but we have to start from at home, and our plastics must be clean and dry so that they can be sold. And then we must collaborate with other people. They have to be the buyer, the seller, and then the people must know that if they collect it, where they can sell it and who will buy from them. And so we need something to link all this, and the community can move forward together. So the most important thing is to create participation and engagement. Participation, engagement, involvement, and awareness. So anything that can create all this, basically, like for example, for collaboration, is something that has created the PPP. So it's how we got the cooperation between the public and private sector and the people. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kun Somjit Nintanom, representative from the PPP Plastics. Kun Somjit has given some examples of some companies who are, the main partner in this project. And also, as the PCD director said, that in Rayong model have used the collaboration with the multiple sectors. And more than that, we have the cooperation with the schools and our youth as well, which is the important part, which Rayong has given importance to. So we had received some questions about from the Q&A. They asked this type of work is interesting. How can we participate more in that? I will ask Kun Somjit to answer that in the end. For some of the Q&A questions that we ask about, how can we reduce the use of plastic, or what kind of things can be used by the plastics that we have collected. I think that some of the questions have been answered through the to this PowerPoint. Some alternatives for some of the areas, but it might not be able to be used in every area, but we have to select what can be used that is appropriate for the context of each area. Next, I would like to invite our next speaker, Kun Bill Kim, who's actually Korean, but has been living in Thailand for a while, and has a shop in a cafe in Phuket. Kun Bill Kim is the new generation who I think I would like our participants to learn from this generation, how they have find a way to reduce the use of single-use plastics. And we have a short video presentation that Kun Bill has already said, and then after that he will talk to us again.
ดิฉันเข้าใจว่าทางโฮสต์จะเปิดคลิปวิดีโอนะคะค่ะเรียนเชิญค่ะ
ครับผมชื่อบิวนะครับเป็นเจ้าของร้าน
สวัสดีครับ My name is Bill. I'm the owner
วัน
of
นี้เราจะมาคุยเรื่อง
Shop House
การ
Cafe.
ลดการใช้
Today we will talk about the reduction of
เลือกที่จะ
single-use
ใช้
plastics.
วัสดุ
I
ที่เป็น
chose to
alternative ของ
use
single use plastic ตั้ง
materials
แต่
which
ผมเปิด
are
ร้านเลยครับไม่ว่าจะเป็น
alternative
แก้วกระ
to
ดาษหรือว่า
single-use
หลอดกระ
plastics.
ดาษถุงกระดา
Ever
ษ
since I opened my shop,
อะไรพว
whether
กนี้
it's paper cup,
เพราะว่า
paper
มันเป็น
straw,
อะไรที่
paper
เรา
bags,
ทำได้โดย ไม่ต้อง
because these things are something that we
ลงทุน
can
เยอะ
do from
แล้
the
วก็
beginning without
alternative
having
มัน
to
ก็
put
อยู่ใน
in
ต
much
ลาดแล้วก็อยู่
investment
ที่
and all these alternatives are
ร้าน
available
ค้า
in the
อื่น
market
ๆเยอะมากอยู่
and
แล้ว ผมก็เลย
and there are many
ไห
shops
น
who
ๆก็
supply it
มันไม่ได้ยาก
already
ขนาดนั้น
so it's
ก็
not
เลย
that difficult
ตอนเปิดร้านก็คิดว่าทำเลยดีกว่า
so when I opened my shop I thought
แล้ว
that
ก็
okay
ลงมือ
so
ทำ
I
ครับ
will go this way
ตอนที่เราไปซื้อของ
that's
เนี่ย
how I
เราไม่ได้
started
ใช้ถุงอยู่แล้วครับ เพราะว่าจะไป
when
จ่า
I
ย
went
ต
to
ลาด
buy
ที่แมค
my
โคร
things I don't
ก็
use
คือเขา
bags
ก็ไม่มี
already
ถุง
because
อยู่
I
แล้
go
ว
to
ผมก็จะ
Macro and
ขนขึ้น
so
หลัง
they
รถ
don't
เลยครับ
hand out bags so
แล้ว
I
ก็พอ
just
มาที่ร้าน ก็ข
I
นล
just
ง
load
ก็
everything
ไม่มี
onto
การ
my
ใช้พ
truck
ลาส
and
ติก
then when I get
มัน
to
มี
my
alternative อยู่
shop
แล้ว
I
ครับ
take it
ใน
down
หลาย ๆ อย่าง
so
ก็
there's no need for
มี
plastic
ทั้ง
bags so there's
ภาช
already
นะ
many
หรือว่าหลอด
alternatives for
แก้ว
this
กระเป๋า ถุง
selection whether it's the
พวกนี้มันมี
packaging for
alternative ที่
cups for bags
อยู่ในต
all
ลาดอ
these
ยู่แล้ว
things
เรา
have
ก็แค่
alternatives
ไป
that
ซื้อ
are
ของพวก
readily
นั้นมาใช้
available
ที่
in the
ร้าน
market we just need to
มันไม่ได้
select
เป็
to
นอะไร
use
ยาก
those in
ผ
our
มคิด
shop
ว่าค่าใช้
so
จ่าย
it's
มั
not
น
something
สูง
that's
อยู่
too
แล้วครับมัน
difficult
ต้องสูงกว่าอยู่แล้ว แต่ว่า
well in terms of
มันไม่ได้สูงกว่า
expenses
2
it's
เท่าหรือ
higher
3 เท่า มัน
definitely but
สูง
you know
กว่า
it's not
นิดหน่อยครับ
like double
ก็เล
or
ย
three
คิดว่า
triple
อย่าง
the
แรก ๆ เนี่ย
price so it's just a
ข
little
อง
bit
พวก
more
นี้มันอาจ
expensive
จะ
than
ราคาแพ
normal
งกว่าพลา
so
สติก
anyhow
มาก แต่ว่าตอนนี้
right now you know these
น่าจะ
things
มี
might be a
ห
little
ลาย
bit
บริษัท แล้วก็
more
หลาย
expensive
ร้าน
than
ที่
plastics but
ขาย
right
ของ
now there
ที่
are
ทำมา
many
จากกระดา
shops
ษนะค
that
รับ
are selling
ก็เลย
paper
ทำให้
products you know so the price and the
ทำให้ราคา
choices
ของพวกเนี้ยมันต่ำลงเยอะมาก
are
ตอนนี้ก็
lower
น่าจะไม่ได้ต่างกันเยอะมากนะครับพลาสติก
so
กับ
right now I don't think
ข
there
อง
is much of a
ที่เป็น
difference in the
alternative
price
ของพลาสติก
between the plastics
หรื
and
อ
its
ว่าถ้าเกิดว่าเรา
alternatives
คิดว่า
or even you know if you
บางอย่างเนี้ยมันพอไปเสิร์
look
ช
at
ดู
like
แล้วมัน
some
แพ
of
ง
the
เกินไป
items that
ก็
if you
อาจ
go
จะ
and
เปลี่ยน
search
แค่
then
บา
you
งอ
think
ย่าง
that it's
ที่
too
ราคา
expensive
มัน
for
ไม่ได้ห่าง
your
กันเยอะขนาดนั้น
option then you can
ก่อน
choose
ก็
to
ได้แล้วก็ค่
choose
อย
other
ๆ
products
เพิ่ม
which doesn't have that
เป็
much
นที
price
ละสเต็ป
difference
ก็ดี
and then you know
อย่างถุงเนี่ย
go
ผมว่า
step
มัน
by
ก็
step
มันก็
to
ไม่ได้ห่าง
change
กันเยอะขนาดนั้นนะครับถุงพลาสติกแล้วก็ถุงกระ
but
ดาษ
you know
เรา
if we
อาจจะ
talk
ไม่ได้
about
ใช้ทุกวัน
plastic
นะครับ
bags
ก็
and paper
ถุง
bags
ที่
it
ร้าน
might not
ส่วนใหญ่จะใช้
be
เป็น
much of
ถุง tek
difference
away ขนมครั
and
บ
we don't use it
แต่ว่า
every day as well
ไม่ใช่ทุ
because
กคนจะ take away
like
ข
in
น
our
ม
shop we
ถุง
only use the
พลาส
bags
ติก
for
ห
the
รือว่าถุงกระดาษเนี่ย
takeaway
มันก็ใช้น้อยกว่าแก้ว
so
อยู่
not
แล้ว
everybody
ก็หันมาใช้
buy
ตัว
food to go
ถุง
home
ก่อน
so
ก็ได้
you know
ถ้าเกิดว่าคอสมันเป็นปัญหา
so we just
อย่าง
change
ร้าน
that
ผมก็
and I think
ก็
if
มี
cost
อย่า
is
ง
a
แก้วกระ
problem
ดาษ
for
นะค
you
รับ
then maybe
แก้ว
you
กระ
can
ดาษ
just go
น่า
one
จะเห็นผลเย
item
อะที่
at
สุ
a
ดเพราะ
time
ว่า เป็น
I
ร้าน
think
กา
one
แฟ
of the
ภาชนะ
most
ที่ใส่เครื่องดื่มก็จะ
thing
เป็น
that
แก้ว
impacts is
ของ
the
ที่ร้านเนี่ยก็
paper cup
ไม่ได้ใช้แก้วกระดาษ ถ้าเกิดว่าเป็นลูกค้า
at
ที่
our
ทานที่ร้าน
shop
นะครับ
we don't
ก็ใช้
use
แก้ว
much
ที่เป็น
paper
แก้ว
cup
เซรามิก
if you
เสิร์ฟอยู่แล้ว
eat in we
ส่วน
use
ลูกค้า
ceramic
ที่
cups
เอากลับบ้านก็จะเป็นแก้ว
and
กระดาษ มีบาง
for
คน
those
เขา
who
จะ
take
ไม่
home
ชอบ
they give
texture ข
paper
อง
cups
หลอด
like
กระดาษ
some
ครับ
people don't
แล้ว
like
ก็
the texture
เขาบอก
of
ว่ามัน
the
มีรส
paper
ชาติของ
straws
กระดาษ เว
because
ลา
they
เขา
say
ดื่มกา
that
แฟ
there's
หรือ
the
ว่าดื่มเครื่อง
taste
ดื่ม
of
เขาก็
paper
จะไม่เอา แล้วแต่บางเครื่องดื่มที่ร้านก็
so they don't use it
มี
when they
ดื่มแบบ
drink
ไม่ใช้หลอดเลยก็มีถุง take away
but if you
แทน
they
ที่จะเป็น
drink
ถุ
at
ง
the
พลาส
shop
ติ
then
ก
they
ก็
don't
ใช้
use straw
ถุ
at
งกระดาษ
all
ทั้งเบเกอรี่
and
แล้วก็
for
ทั้งเครื่องดื่ม
for
แล้ว
the
ก็
bags for takeaways then we
ที่
use
ร้านจะขายพว
paper
กซู
instead
เว
of
เนียร์ด้วย
plastic
ครับ
unlike
ก็
the bakeries
พอ
and
เขาซื้อซูเวเนียร์
souvenirs
ก็
at
ใส่
the
ให้เป็น
shop
ถุงกระดาษด้วย
you know
คิดว่า
so then we
หลาย
use
ๆร้าน
paper
เขา
bag
ก็
for
เริ่
them
ม
as well
เขาก็
I think
ลด
that
การ
many
ใช้พลาสติก
stores
เยอะ
are
แล้ว
also you
เขา
know
ก็หันมาใช้
reducing
แก้ว
the
กระ
use
ดาษ
of
หรือว่า
plastics as well
เป็น
and they
alternative
turn
จา
to
กการใช้
paper cups
single
and
use
other
plastic
alternatives
หลาย
from
ๆ
the
ร้านเขาก็
single-use
ลดแล้วครับ
plastics
ลูกค้าหรือว่า
I
นัก
think
ท่องเที่ยว
many
เขาก็
shops
อาจ
has
จะไม่ได้เซอร์
also
ไพรส์
done
เพราะ
the
ว่า
same thing and you know the
ที่ร้าน
customers
อื่นเขา
and
ก็
the
ทำมาแล้
tourists
ว
may not be
ลูกค้า
even be
ที่มา
surprised
ทานที่
because
ร้านเขาก็อาจ
many
จะ
of
ไม่
the
ได้
shops
เซอร์ไพร
and
ส์กับ
stores are also doing
แก้ว
the
กระ
same
ดาษ
thing
หรือว่าหลอดกระดาษหรือภาชนะกระดาษ
you
ที่
know like
ทางร้าน
so our
เราใช้
customers
เพราะ
will
ว่า
not be surprised with
ร้าน
the
เราก็ไม่ได้
paper
เป็นร้านเดี
products,
ยวใน
paper
ย่านเมืองเก่า
cups or
ที่ทำแบ
plates
บ
that are
นี้ห
using
ลาย
this
ๆร้าน
because
ใน
I
ย่าน
think
เมือง
that
เก่าอะครับ
our shop
เขา
is
ก็
not the
ทำกันอยู่
only
แล้ว
shop in
ผม
the
เชื่อ
old
ว่าใน
town
อนาคต
Phuket who are
ก็จะ
using
มี
this
อีกหลาย
method
ๆร้านที่จะ
or
ทำ
materials.
แบบ
So I
นี้เหมือน
think,
กัน
and
ค
I
รับ
think that in the future
สิ่ง
many
ที่
shops will
อยาก
also
จะล
do
ด
the
เพิ่ม
same
ก็
thing
คือ
as we're doing.
ลด
What we
ใน
would
การ
like to
ใช้
reduce
ถุงร้อ
more
น
is the
ที่
you know
เป็นพ
the
ลาสติก แล้วก็
reduce
ถุงข
the
ยะที่เป็นพ
reduction
ลาส
of
ติก
the
ครับ
like the
เพราะว่า
hot
มันน่าจะหา alternative ค่อนข้างยา
the
กครับ
hot
ที่ร้านก็
bags
ยัง
that
ใช้
is
ถุงร้อนอยู่
plastics
ครับ
or
สำหรับลูกค้า
and
ที่
also the plastic
take away กลับบ้าน
the bag
มันจะ
garbage
มีของ
bags.
หวานบา
So
งอย่าง
we
ที่ต้อง
still
ใส่ซอ
use
สอะ
the
ครับ แล้วซอ
you
ส
know
มันร้อน
for some items that
เราก็จะใส่
needs
ใน
to
ถุง
use
ร้อนให้เขา
to
ตั
package
วปัญ
hot
หา
stuff.
ก็น่าจะ
We
เป็น
need still to use the
ร้านที่
plastic
เขายั
bags
ง
for
ใช้
that.
single use
And,
plastic อยู่ แต่ว่า
So I think the
ก็
main
ต้อง
problem
ค่อย
needs to
ๆ ปรับ
be
ควา
the
มคิด
shops
ของ
that
เขา
are still
ให้
using
เขา
the
หัน
single-use
มาใช้
plastic,
alternative
but
อ
we
ย่าง
need
อื่น
to
แทนที่จะเป็น single use
gradually
plastic
change the
น่าจะต้อง
mindset, so
เป็น
that if
มีเดี
you
ยหรือ
use
ว่าแคมเป
other
ญ
alternative
เป็นพวก
materials,
influencer
I'm not sure it
น่า
like
จะ
maybe media
ทำให้
campaign or
เขาเปลี่ยน
influencers
ความ
who
คิดได้
can
ครับ
help to
ถ้า
change
มี
their
เดียโฆ
mindset.
ษณาอะไรพวกนี้ก็น่าจะช่วย
I think
ได้
that, if
โฆ
the
ษณาที
media
วี
or
หรือว่า
commercials
โฆ
that
ษณาบิลบอร์
can
ด
help
น่าจะ
maybe on TV or on
introduce
billboards that
แนะ
will
น
help
ำ
to
alternative อย่างอื่น
introduce
ให้เขา
the
หรื
new
อว่า
alternatives to
พวกเอฟ
these
เฟกต์
people.
ที่การใช้
You know,
single use
or
plastic มันมีต่อ
some
สิ่ง
of
แว
the
ดล้อม
effects of the
มันมี
single-use plastics
ใน
that
ทาง
have
ที่ไม่ดี ใช่
on
ไหม
the
ครับ ก็
environment
โชว์
or
ให้เขาดู
the bad
แล้วก็เสนอ
effects
alternative
that
ให้เขา
have. Maybe we can
แล้ว
try
ก็
to show them more of that, and
เสน
as
อ
well as
ร้าน
providing
ที่
them
ซื้อ
alternatives
alternative
to
ให้เขา
single-use
ด้วย
plastics.
ถ้าห้ามเนี้ย
And then
ได้ผลแน่นอน
if
เพราะ
we
ว่า
just ban, then
ห้าม
it will
ก็
be
แปลว่า
effective.
มันจะเป็
But
นกฎหมายใช่ไหมครับ
so
แล้ว
if
ก็
you say
ถ้า
no,
มีกฎหมายแล้วเรา
like
ฝ่าฝืนมัน
and make
มัน
it
ก็จะมี
a
ค่าปรับ
legal banning, then
คน
there
ทั่ว
will
ไป
be
เขาก็ไม่อยาก
fine
เสียเงินอยู่
and
แล้ว เสีย
fees.
เงินกับ
So
ค่า
most
ปรับ
people don't want to pay
ก็
the
น่าจะมี
fees.
ผลนะครับ ถ้ามันเป็น policy หรือว่าเป็น
Anyhow,
เป็นกฎหมาย
so
ไปเลย
it's if it
ส่วนเรา
becomes
ทำ
if it's
policy
a
หรือว่า
policy
ก
or
ฎหมาย
becomes
แล้
a
ว
law, then
คน
maybe it
เขา
will
ยัง
work
ไม่พร้อมที่
directly.
จะทำ
But
ก็บังคับ
but if
แบบ
you
นั้น
issue
อ
the
ย่างเดียวก็
law,
ไม่
but
ได้
then
เพ
people
ราะว่า
are not ready to
เขาไม่รู้
change,
ว่า alternative
then
มันอยู่ที่ไหน
it might
แล้วเรา
not
ไปบังคับ
be
เขาเรา
as
บัง
effective
คับ
because
โดย
they
การ
don't know
ทำกฎหมายขึ้น
where
มา
they can find the
เขา
alternatives.
ก็จะ
And if we just
รู้สึก
enforce
เหมือน
something onto them
รู้
that
สึกสับสน
they
เพราะว่า
they're
เขา
not
ไม่
ready
รู้
for, they
alternative
will
อยู่
be
ที่ไหน
confused
แล้วกฎ
because
หมาย
they
มันก็
don't
ทำแบบนี้เลย
understand and they
ห้าม
don't
ใช้
know
พลา
where
ส
the
ติกนะ
alternatives
เขาก็
are.
ไม่
And
รู้
then
จะ
all
อ
of
อก
a
ไปหา
sudden
ที่
a
ไหน
law comes up,
มันก็
then
จะ
they
เป็น
don't know what else
เรื่อง
to
วุ่น
do,
วาย
so it will create chaos for them.
ค่ะ
Yeah.
ต้องขอบคุณนะคะสำหรับคลิป
So
ของ
thank you,
Bill Kim นะคะ
Bill Kim, for your video clip. So I think we have him here with us. So if you want to add on to the clip that you have given us, you can turn on your camera and mic.
คุณบิวเชิญค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
ค่ะ
Okay.
ก่อนอื่นต้องขอบคุณที่
So first of all, I would like to thank our shop. Thank you for having us. Because actually, like in Phuket, there are many stores who are reducing the use of single-use plastics in their stores. So what I would like to add, I think that I would like to say that what can we do, to reduce the use of plastics? Like I went to take to buy the takeaway iced teas. They gave me the plastic cup and plastic straws, and also gave me a bag for each cup. Then I think those kind of things that we can try to reduce the use of, like when we go to the malls, to Central, to Lotus, like we can bring our own bags to go buy things and to put in the stuff that we bought and take home. I think those are some of the activities that we can do to reduce the daily consumption of plastic. Kumbiu's voice is not very clear, but emphasizing on the use of single-use plastics. Yeah, so anyhow, these little things, I think it will be positive in many ways if we can apply them. So can I stop you there, and then we will come back to you at the end again? Kun Bill Kim, so one of our younger generation, to say that if there's an alternative, or if even though we have a bit more expenses, then we will still choose to use the alternative. So it's not something that is very new in the Thai society, especially in Phuket, where many people are already interested in cooperating and also working on the reduction of use of plastics. But if there's a law, that it might work even more, but the law must come with alternative for the people. So I think that is one of the things that is the message given by Kun Bill for all of us. Next, I think we have representative from Grace, which is a company who is working on the alternative to plastic, more environmental friendly packaging. As what Kun Bill said, also the owner of this company also help us to look at this alternatives, and would like companies to find new alternatives for packaging that can be used, especially for hot stuff. We invite Dr. Virishat? สวัสดีครับ sorry. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present the alternative. I like
Grace นะครับ Grace เป็น product
So Grace is a product which is compostable. It is packaging that has been developed because we feel that plastic is too soft and it creates many problems, that especially the problem on management. So I think we are getting better in management of the waste from the Rayong model and from Kun Kim as well. So we can see that the process has started, but what we have been doing has been working on is like in midstream and end of stream management. So for us, Grace is an option or an alternative, as what Kun Kim said, that we try to help from the upstream of the process. Because if we, only work on the management problem at the midstream or end of stream and not dealing with it from the source or the upstream, then we cannot provide the change, right? So if we initiate the change from the beginning, which is from the materials, then it might be one of the ways that we can help to solve the problem. So Grace has produced packaging that is made from natural products, whether it's from sugarcane, from husk, or some other bio materials.
นะครับ Grace เป็นบรรจุภัณฑ์ที่เราตั้งใจเรามอง
Grace is a packaging that we use the theory, the concept of one life and one planet. So we see that all the single-use plastics and the foam that we use today, which creates a lot of problem. Like plastic has a problem for every. Not all plastic has a problem, creates a problem, right? But single-use plastic is a problem because we only use for only a few minutes and then we throw away, and then it takes over 450 years to degrade. So that is the the main cause of the problem that we find. And when it becomes degraded and becomes microplastic, and all the chemicals from the petroleum-based products, in the medical field, we find that all these chemicals, when it comes into the ecosystem and enters the human body, it's toxic for the human body, and some of them are cancerous as well. So we look at so actually plastic is not designed to hold food. It was designed to do other uses or other goods, like to be used for many times, to be durable materials. So if we use plastic according to their design or use, it will be good and beneficial. But if we use it in the wrong way, then it will become a problem. So we find to see that maybe if we look at the single-use plastic products, how can we find alternatives for them, and then that can be usable and also good for the earth. So for us, we can see that in Thailand, we are agricultural based, and so we mainly have agricultural products. We have many uses of agricultural products, like the rice husk, corn husk. We have sugar cane waste as well, and all these waste, it creates problem as well. Mostly it's incinerated, and sometimes if you just burn it, it will create PM 2.5, which is a problem for the country as well. So we use these products to put in our innovations So we don't use natural fiber, like we don't cut trees. We use these fibers that we already have from used products to make into cups and glasses. And these things are, better for our health. There's no mixed toxic or cancerous hazardous materials. And after you throw it away, it can be biodegraded within 45 days. And like for this cup, after you use, you can plant a tree, you put in a seed and then you put it in the ground, and after 45 days, it will be biodegraded and become part of the soil. There's no plastic contamination on this cup because so it can totally biodegrade and becomes compost for the plant. And now we are developing the product so that it can be microwavable, it can be used in the oven, and it can be frozen. So we have lid, and we have coffee cups, and this is 100% compostable. It has a lid that can be compostable and a straw that goes with it. And the straw can be used for 4 hours before it become squishy. So these are the products that we have tried to develop as an alternative, to answer the question that yes, there is alternatives available in the market, but I think that we have to move and try to provide these alternatives for people to replace the use of plastics. But they have to really be usable, and like we can use waste that's available, and then we use our product and process also is environmentally concerned. We use biomass energy to produce our products, and and at the end, when we get a product for packaging that is non-toxic, it comes from the waste that is really from nature, and also in the end life of the use of the products will become compost for trees. So after that, now we are in the stage where we are developing it so that it can be used hot and cold and freezable, as well as microwavable as well. So it really be the answer for the alternative material. So, and then after use, as we said, because it's natural plant fiber, after we use, we can put it in under the ground as to plant trees as well, so it will become compost. So, but so if we cannot all collect it all, but it can still be biodegraded. And if it's been escaped into the environment, this can be eaten by the animals. Any animals eating the plant, they can eat it because it's like a fiber. It's like rice husk and corn husk or sugarcane. So our concept, as we say, is like from nature to nature. We use like the item from nature, which is bio-based products. We use the bioeconomy. Like when we think of the bioeconomy, we use the bio items, like and circular economy condition. So we use something that comes from the nature and turn it back into into product, which eventually turns back into nature that can be used as well. So, and what we do also helps to develop the condition of the soil for the trees to be green as well. So this is a totally full cycle that supports the BCG model. So in one part, we have product innovation and develop the packaging. We have containers, plates, straws, glass cups, and also something that can hold hot meals as well. So we're developing this to be a real alternative for food packaging, and many of our items can be used to hold hot items instead of plastics. Like this one can hold 95 to 100 degrees sauce, and for it. So what Kun Kim asked just now, I think this can address that issue as well. Other than that, the variety of products that we have produced, if anything that is, the leftover from the agricultural waste in the country, we have, the corn husks in the north. Now we're trying to develop products from that so that people don't need to burn those husks and stalks, so that the farmers can have more income as well. Right now, we're working with the farmers in the Uthai Thani province. We buy the rice husk from them and help them to make more products. So instead of getting money just from selling rice, they can get money from selling the rice husk and also the new products from the rice husk as well. So this is something that we've been working with at the ground level. So this is the example of the rice husk that they used to burn. So we changed this rice husk to plates. This is the common water hyacinth that is a problem for the country. So we asked the people to collect it and then cut it and then clean it and then send it to us, and then we make it into product so that the income goes back to the people. And these products are being developed to work in the oven and to the microwave as well. Right now, we have developed a product so that it can be put into the hot air fryer as well. So other than products that deals with food, because now we have also developed products that can be used in the hospitals as well. Because like if we have the plates or something and if the person has COVID, then they will be contaminated, right? And the person who collect the items might get infected by the disease. So now in the medical field, we try to use disposable items as much as possible. And everything in the hospitals, in the stores, something that is a central item that people use together. We try to use the single-use items. It's a one-way packaging, so that if you throw it away, it will not create infections to other people again. So this is one of the mechanisms that in the health and sanitation system is turning to. So I think that is very important for us to move. So that's why we have developed this work for the hospital products. So anything that we can do to help to reduce the burden from the use of plastics, we try to do as much as we can. These are some of the items that are used in some of the industries, that they used to use plastic for these items, but so we try to develop many type of items. So right now we are exporting our items to 33 countries, and we have received certifications from like various standards: bio-based product, ISO 9000, the ISO 22000, OK Compost, and halal products. So I think our product is, it's something that we have to help. We can see that the society today is something that everyone has to move together to find a solution. And we have to know that plastic is not the culprit, right? But if used properly, and if you don't use it properly, it becomes like a virus or a disease in your body, and it might create cancer in your body. And by the time we know it, like we will be at stage 3 or stage 4 and then die. So before we get to that point, we have to help. If we take it too slow, it might not solve any problem. So we need to go and look at something like that will immediately solve the problem. Like what we saw, example, when we saw oil leak in the ocean, we see that, oh, that's a problem. How can we clean it up? But what we find is that, all the plastic leaks into the marine, into the ocean, is a bigger problem than that. So we must tackle the problem urgently as possible, because if we let this to continue and go on, it will cause a problem for many people around the world. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Virashat Kitiratanapaibun, who emphasizing the health effects and the environment as well. I think there's many questions for you in the Q&A. Can you please go to check out the questions, and then we'll answer in the end. And then what about if we, if we use chemicals for the agricultural products, and will there be sediments in the products, and then will it be a problem for our health as well? Next, we will have a representative from CAO Industrial who will be talking to us, Kun Susevi Ondam, who will Kun Susevi will be explaining to us about the activities from the private sector who has taken part in plastic reduction. Can you please? My name is Susevi from CAO Industrial Thailand. Our company is the member of the CAO Corporation from Japan. Today is exchange forum that like from CAO Thailand has worked on.
ตอนนี้เหมือนกับภาพจะค้างอยู่ค่ะลองหยุดแชร์สกรีนแล้วก็แชร์ใหม่ได้ไหมคะลองสต็อปแชร์ค่ะ
เห็นหน้าจอนะครับ
ยังเดี๋ยวลองเลือกสไลด์ได้ไหมคะเพราะตอนนี้หน้าจอจะเป็นภาพของสุเซวีอยู่นะคะโอเคชัดเจนค่ะตัวหน้าจอเต็มจอนิดนึงค่ะ
ครับครับก็จากที่เรียนไปสักครู่นะครับก็คือว่าของ
So as we said just now, from CAO Thailand is part of the CAO Corporation Japan. We have activities that work on conservation and also giving importance to the environment from the past to the present, and also with our way forward as well. CAO in Thailand has been in Thailand for over 58 years, and we have both consumer products that can be used from like when you wake up all the way before to when going to bed, and we also have many chemical products, whether it's in the construction sector, production sector, and also because we have so many consumer products, one of the things that we have to bear in mind is the waste that is produced through our products. So we give a lot of importance to this section, and how can we, take care of it, and how can we collect the waste to take care of it in the system. From our president's note, he has given importance to sustainability, and which is a very important agenda for the CAO Group into the future. CAO Group has issued a policy that gives importance to the society, environment, and governance. And this has been separated into 9 topics, so that every country that is under the CAO umbrella of the CAO company has to give importance to, which in Thailand we have prioritized 6 items, which is direct problems that we find in Thailand, whether it's climate change, air pollution, plastic pollution, and polarization, and water scarcity, and dengue fever. So today, I would like to share the information on climate change and plastic pollution. From what we see, this is the information we had from 2020 towards the end of the year. We found that Thailand has a waste production up to 2.7 million tons of waste per year, which is the top 6 countries who has countries producing waste. But what the Director General of PCD said in the beginning, that we have moved down to number 10, so it's better situation for us now, but still something that we need to work on. And but still, if we don't handle it carefully, we will create problems, whether it's marine pollution or any other pollution in the country. So as producer, KAO gives a lot of information, a lot of importance to this problem, but KAO by ourselves cannot change the cycle of waste in the country. But what we can do is we can cooperate with other agencies as relevant, whether it's through the EPR or the Extended Producer Responsibility Project, which many producers have worked with, with the government to take care of the production from the source through transportation, through waste management methods, especially, and then also all the way to management of the packaging after use or after sales. For KAO ourselves, we focus in two parts with EPR. One is waste management system, and second is the circular economy team in the in our process. First of all, in the waste management system, at KAO, we work with many agencies to work on the waste management system. One of the projects that I would like to talk about is the APCT, which is the Alliance Plastic Collection Thailand. It's a collection, it's a network of producers who are working together. And second is the project on Send Plastic Home, which we work with the retailers. And the third project also working with the retailers. For APCT, that we work with many of the producers. So we work with companies such as Unilever, Nestle, P&G, and KAO, and PepsiCo. And all of these companies together, we give importance to taking care of the packaging or products that come out from our processes. So we set up this project together to kick off the project at Rayong, because this area is have a very strong community, and they can define a model for waste management together. And then we had the Send Plastic Home project. As I said, we have worked with many sectors, especially the producers and retailers. In this project, we set up drop points for plastic waste, and then plastic waste management system. Even in the urban areas, well, like we worked with Siam Paragon for sending a drive to return the waste. People will drop off the waste into these boxes, and then the relevant agencies will take the waste and then manage it further. So for these kind of waste, what do we do after we collect them? So we set up a model like what Khun Somjit said in the Rayong model. We collect the waste from the communities to the hubs or to the recycle facilities, and then we reuse it at the brand. Whether it's Unilever, KAO, Nestle, P&G, or PepsiCo, then we set a flagstone that in the future we will reuse these plastics into our products again. And for this, we have started to work on this since 2020, and the work will be more clear in 2023. And in the second part, which is the management, that within the organization, is something that we will require cooperation from our mother company, whether it's on recycling innovation or other innovations that deals with our reuse and recycling, whether maybe in PCR or post-consumer recycle or PIR post-industrial recycle. Because the technology from our mother company, we also use like the technology from our producers as well, whether it's like SCG or PTT who produce the plastic beads as well. Also, we have other innovations for reduction of plastics, whether it's the thickness reduction or mono-material plastic production. Other than that, I think that both of these things will require a product life cycle consideration, because we must consider from the beginning with the product production, and then we look at the raw materials, then how we can reduce the GHG emission in the process. And at the end, we will require the cooperation from those who know about like the higher technology to assist us with the system. So first of all, when we look at the innovation in recycling, we can see that, you know, how we can reduce or how can we use the alternatives to the materials. So these are the basics that we find, like before we use some products for production and create the waste, we have to see whether these products can be reused or not, so that we can, you know, plan the management of the waste from the source. But because we are mass production type of company, there are some products that in the past that can still not be 100% recycled, because they have like different layers, like some of the packaging, you know, that have multiple layers of plastics to ensure some of the other properties required for the packaging. You know, for example, for leakage problems or for like smell and other items. So before we were not able to find alternative for that, but now we are working with with our producer company who, you know, the producer of plastics, to find an innovation where we can change like PTTGC to you know, find a way to upcycle the plastic products that we use. So we have, you know, joined forces with PTTGC, with Quali, who convert, you know, the plastics waste as well. And we're making some prototypes and innovation. So for example, we have, you know, made design for hand wash items that can be used. So sometimes, for example, if you live in a condominium, you might need a lot of space. So we designed the product so that it can be used and stored in many in small places. So for example, like we use the multi-layer packaging and put it into the product and upcycle it into a new product that can be used better. So now we also have a plan to reuse, you know, how we can collect the waste that we have used into the recycled materials or products, and, you know, at least 15%. And then we use this product to distribute it as item for, you know, to use as premium products to give back to the consumers if they, you know, bring back or help us to manage the waste. So our consumers will take part in our scheme as well. Soคุณสุเสวี sorry, what you have been saying is very interesting, but I think due to our time frame, can you please summarize within 1 to 2 minutes? Thank you. So thank you. In our project, I think that it's something that, you know, we cooperation is very important for everybody, and in the end, I think for the project for reducing the use of plastics and, you know, natural resources, we have to consider the whole life cycle of the production system. So like, for example, you know, we changed from the hard plastics bottles to pouch, which we reduce plastics by 60 to 70%, or how we reduce the carton boxes, you know, the thickness of the boxes. We worked with SAG to reduce that, so we were able to reduce the use of tree tissue by quite a bit. And so our direction is that we want to innovate new items, and also, you know, so ETSCO is part of the Thai society as well, and you know, we want to help and contribute for a better life for the Thai people as well. Thank you. So thank you very much. I'm sorry about the timing. Many people are customers of KAO as well, because it's something that we use in our everyday life as well. So to get to know that KAO is driven to join with us to reduce the plastic problems, I think that it will be a good time, for us to move forward together as well. Thank you. So for those of you who have some questions, and also who are panelists who read the questions from the Q&A in the session, you can also help us to answer in that Q&A box as well. Sorry, you might, because of our time is short, we might be not be able to answer all questions live. Anyhow, next, Khun Napaporn from CAPSEA project will be giving us some more information and alternative on how to, reduce the single-use plastics in Thailand. Khun Napaporn will give us some information from the CAPSEA project and what has been done. Thank you. Thank you, Khun Benjamat. And first of all, I'd like to thank the organizers who have invited GIZ to work together on this. First of all, I'd like to say that the CAPSEA project, CAPSEA is a short name for our project. Our project is a collaborative action of single-use plastic prevention in Southeast Asia. Our budget is from the Ministry of Environment, National Conservation and Nuclear Safety and Consumer Production from Germany, who gave us a budget of 3 million euro to work in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. This year is our third year of the project, and our project will be ending at the beginning of next year. The objective of the project is that we would like to work with our partners in each country to find the way or the method for policy development, and also take action on reduction of single-use plastics. Our action is based on the circular plastic economy. So with this concept, we look at how we can increase recycling, how can we reuse more, and how can people use the material again and again. How can we design the product so that it can be used for a longer time and more durable, and how can we design the products to be more recyclable. And now to the project interventions, we try to assist and support in the design and production steps. In Thailand, we work with many agencies, whether it's from the PCD and TEI, and also we also work as a secretary with the TEI to work as the committee for the project. We have Thailand's Business Council and the NISTA, and also MTech, and many other agencies from private sectors as well, and the Industrial Council, and also the Plastics Council Association, sorry, and we try to help develop the a policy recommendation together, saying how we can develop a process that will help the producers to better design the products, and also set a target that will for products that will be able to be reused and recycled. Other than that, other than the policies, we try to develop a guideline of practice for design for recycling, so that it can be used as a guide for the operators for the future. And more than that, we also focus on reusing the products as well. And next, I will give you an overview about our suggestions for reuse. This is the waste hierarchy that it's the is the concept that goes along with the circular economy that many countries, especially in Europe, is giving importance to, like for handling plastics problem. How can we manage the plastic waste so that there's the least possible waste that are produced? So this upside down pyramid is the way to see how we can reduce the waste from the source so that the burden for disposal will be less. And many countries, if we work together, we can see that this is one of the studies that have been taken to say that if many countries around the world work together to reduce plastic waste from the source, we can reduce the amount of plastics that contributes to the greenhouse gas effect by 30%. This scheme is the guideline that we use to explain about our work, like how can we reduce plastics from the source. When we try to reduce plastic from the source, is that we look at the initial production stage. So first we try to select plastics that can be recycled or materials that can be recycled before we design and produce the products and send it out to the consumers. Once it comes to the consumption sector, we try to create the cycle of use that is as long as possible. So durable materials is very important so that the consumers can use it as much as possible until it cannot be used anymore before being sent back to the recycling or in the end disposal stage, and so that it will go through the loop again. So the blue boxes are the upstream management, so material choices and design, and the green boxes are the management at the end, downstream. So in terms of the German government, the German government is quite active and alert for the EU's policy on plastics. We talk about supporting the operators. I'm not sure, I think it came out as a restriction already that the producers must be responsible for all plastics that they produce. So it will be a producer responsibility or EPR. Other than that, they have issued a law that support this, support the use of raw materials that are like 25% of PET bottles must be recycled by 2025. So it's mandatory for Germany now, and so at least 25% of the bottled packaging that are being sold in the market must be recyclable, and by the year 2030, 30% of all plastic bottles must be recyclable. In terms of consumption and reduction and reuse policy, this policy has been issued with a target that from the year 2023 onwards, all the shops and coffee shops and restaurants must offer their customers the reusable packaging. So it would be packaging that can be used again and again for the customers. So I would like to give a little bit of information on the business cases in Germany and also in Asia that have been implementing even before the policy came out, and the target in the year 2023. I will give you some examples of where and how the this issue of packaging has been taken. In this picture, you can see the reusable food containers that like in Malaysia have been using. Like in Thailand, we use the pinto, right? So it's a layered container. here the tapao is used in Malaysia, and in our project we worked with our ventures, like the startup ventures, who think of a system, who provide the service for the reusable food packaging in Malaysia, where if the customers order the food, then the customers can choose to use the tapao packaging, and then the countries can use this to put in their food and then send it to the customers. And once they finish with the food, then they have to clean it up, and then they can put it at the drop point, and then the collectors will recollect it and then clean it up again to the health standard accordingly, and then give it to the restaurants to reuse. So this is like example that can be used at the canteen or some of the shops. That the canteens use also some of the products, but there's an open system. But in the delivery system, in the restaurants or canteens are a closed system, but in the delivery system is an open system. And in Indonesia, we also have a similar scheme. We work with a startup venture. They have the brand Alas. They use the same system. They have an application for the customer to choose. And next example in Singapore, they're the most advanced in Asia at the moment. They have the application where they call the Bear Pack application, and they will provide the service for reusable containers. In Germany, which is the most advanced right now, they use the app. They have provided the services for many countries in Europe, and has also now, I think, provided in Australia as well. It started in Germany, went to France and England, and also the system, is quite similar. So it's the reuse of the packaging. So you can see some of the commercials on YouTube, to show about these systems. And Khun Benjamin just gave me a signal on the time. So for Malaysia and Indonesia, we are at the testing stage. We haven't gone to the mass level like in Singapore yet, but in Malaysia and Indonesia, we have started the system to see if it works or not. Would it be appropriate for the context for the customers in the country or not? So we have 3 restaurants who have joined with us for this, and in Malaysia there's 1 shop, and in Thailand we're starting this project, this development right now. And so we would like to get some policy support, like for in Jakarta, for Indonesia. I think, like, because the containers that are used in this open system is really clean and hygienic. We have a standard cleaning system, and that the customers can be sure that it is cleaned and usable and healthy. And other than that, we'd like to also present another option is that we have, like, the community can also carry their own refill, like a refill system. So we are going to start this in Malaysia, where people can use the containers to refill the shampoo and other products. In Thailand, we are starting this in Phuket. We have over 11 stores who have joined with us. The owners are actually mainly foreigners, and they are quite aware of the problem, and they were uneasy with plastic take-home packages. So they have joined with us in the project and will continue to work with us. And so this will help us to close the loop for the management of the plastic waste. So these are some of our partners who we've been working with. It will be they have users who are environmentally concerned, and they will help us to work more on this. We have volunteers from the Global Shaper, and it's our team that started from the World Economic Forum, who are working on this. We have some the Commons Bangkok, Global Shapers Bangkok. Right now, we're trying to start a business model. How can we cooperate so that we can make this work in Thailand? So, and in Phuket, it will be a pilot team, right? And we have the ventures or startup team who will go to the incubation network to get some fundings so that we can use for these partners. They have the call for application in May and June. And so they will give us some seed money so that we can actually operate this model together. So anyhow, thank you, the organizers, for giving us the opportunity to share what we're doing here. Thank you. Thank you, Kunapaporn, as well. There are some questions in the Q&A. You might not get the chance to answer live, but can you please help us to answer the questions in the Q&A box as well? Next will be the important session as well. The ERIA platform will introduce our platform to you all. So, and so it will be the channel of cooperation as well, and give some more information about the platform that has been developed. Can the host show the video clip so that our participants can see the information? Thank you.
These are the top 10 countries in the world that have mismanaged plastic waste leaking into the ocean. We can see that most of them are from here, Southeast Asian countries. In fact, Southeast Asian countries plus China, Japan, and South Korea, known as the ASEAN plus 3 countries, account for 64% of the annual world mismanaged waste leaking into the ocean. The good news is, many countries in this region have either developed a national framework to manage plastic waste and combat marine plastics, or are preparing one. ASEAN as a group has also started an initiative by launching the ASEAN Regional Action Plan for combating marine debris in the ASEAN member states. Meanwhile, in the ASEAN plus 3 countries, a growing number of environmentally conscious companies are trying to reduce plastic waste, which often end up in the ocean. For example, instead of offering a new plastic product every time a container is empty, a person can bring the empty bottle and refill the content at a refill shop, which will significantly reduce the amount of plastic used in the process. Not only that, companies with new and innovative technologies have also come up with products with less impacts on the ecosystem once accidentally discarded in the environment. Some companies are also proposing to improve the unsustainable way with which sometimes plastic waste has been dealt by offering an enhanced segregation, collection, and management of plastic waste. Currently, many recyclable plastics are discarded with other non-recyclable trash, but with a better consciousness of the citizens and with the help of plastic recycling companies, such plastics can have a second life. With the support of the private sector, it is possible to create a society where the consumption and production of plastics are sustainable and the circularity of plastics is ensured. To acknowledge these private initiatives and inspire others to do the same, the Regional Knowledge Center for Marine Plastic Debris, RKC-MPD of ERIA, has created the private sector platform to showcase company products, services, or technologies that help reduce plastic waste. If your companies have similar initiatives, share your stories on our platform now. Go to rkcmpd-area.org/story and be part of the business communities that contribute to the reduction of plastic waste and marine plastic debris in this region. Together, we can make a difference.
Thank you, the organizers, for giving us the overview and also to set up the platform where we can share the information together. And I understand that Kojima-san will give us a little bit more information on this topic, on how you can join and become a partner. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. So, Regional Knowledge Center for Marine Park Stabilities developed a kind of a website on the kind of platform for private sectors engaging in to reduce plastics somehow, like increase the plastic resource efficiency, alternative material to plastics, plastic recycling, improved plastic waste management, services that use less plastics, especially single-use plastics, other innovative technologies and tools to better track and manage plastic waste. So if you have these kind of businesses, please register our platform, and we can distribute your activities somehow. So there is a website address, so please check the website also. You may be able to find a good kind of practices for your partners or something. Yeah, thank you very much, Benjamin-san. Yeah.
ค่ะขอบคุณค่ะคุณจิบาซังค่ะที่ได้มาแนะนำเพิ่มเติมกับแพลตฟอร์มนี้นะคะท่านที่สนใจก็
Thank
สา
you,
มารถ
Kojima-san, for this.
เป็นสมาชิกกับแพลตฟอร์มนี้ได้ค่ะ
And any of you who are interested can join with us at this platform. And actually, right now our time is running out, but I would like to extend for another 15 minutes and maybe ask our panelists, if you see the questions, you can answer the questions. I think for Dr. Vichan, there are some questions that are on the policies. Can we get some ideas on these? Like, for example, some of the questions that we get is like, if we want to make a campaign for some of the, banning the use of some types of plastics, but some of the smaller companies will be impacted by this. Do you think that there are policies to help support them on this? The second question is that if we use other alternatives, what is the facility structure in our country about managing these materials? Can you give us some more information on how ready or how prepared we are for that? Thank you very much. This is a good question. We have been trying to campaign like what Kun Kim said, like if you go to macro, of course, they don't have it, they don't offer the plastic bag. But if we go to the fresh market, and can we not use plastics? That is an important issue. Sometimes, like, we cannot say no to the plastic bags, but at the same time, when we talk about circular economy, like, how can we use that to apply? So in practice, we try to reduce from the source as much as possible. But if we cannot have an alternative, then we have to find out a way that we can use it as best as possible to its the best efficiency that it can offer. But as some people have said, there are some alternatives and some options for the materials, but some materials cannot be substituted, right? But from what we give the importance to is like for the single-use plastic, I think we can find alternatives for them. When we look at the alternatives, we also have to look at the life cycle of the material and the product as well. We cannot look at things from only one dimension. We have to look at the overview as well, and also the issue of climate change. So when we look at circular economy, there are two parts. One part is the biological pillar, and the second part is the material part, which is like the technical material. So from, like, for example, from Dr. Richard's example, it's a biological material which can use but and in the end of the life cycle, it can be it can be used as a compost. So that is one cycle. But another example is, the other leg is how can we recycle the material? For example, the plastics. We have to find out ways that we can work on as best as possible. If something that we cannot change, then we have to find another way to modify the product so that we can bring back the materials into the system as much as possible. Can the organizers highlight to each of the panelists, because so we have a question from, if we use the packaging, like can we ask Kun Napaporn for the materials, health concerns on the questions. So I was typing the answer to that. On the concern about the health and hygiene issue of the reusable packaging. So like, if are we concerned about the COVID, that might be contaminated with the products? So we have talked with the WHO and US FDA that there has been no indicator of contamination of COVID in the reusable containers. Sorry. So so more information can be found on the zero waste website as well. Next, can I ask Dr. Rayong to also give us some information on this question? Thank you. Thank you. Actually, so when you say that we have all the different standards, food safety, ISO standards, and things, but in the question, when you say that the pesticides used on the plants, right? And if we use pesticides on the plants, then would be contaminated into the products. So actually, in the process, we have to check that all materials, are they contaminated with chemicals and pesticides or not? And in our production process, we use over 200 degrees Celsius of heat. So all these chemicals will already be dissolved already. And when inside the finished product, our product will be tested as well for the health. And also we use total page count for bacteria and all other contaminants as well, metal and non-metal contaminations. So because all these are all the food grade standard and hygiene standards that we use, so we can be sure that there are no contaminants from these products. Oh, thank you. So we can be sure on that. And next, I would like to ask you that for reducing plastic containers, does your customer complain about the replacement products at all? If Kun Bill is not with us anymore, I will ask Kun Susavi about the for PIR, and also working with your business competitors. But I think that might not be like a business section, because sometimes the business competitors are also the business partners, right? But Kun Susavi, do you have explanation? I'm not really sure about this, but somebody has asked for explanation on PIR, like how is it different from the waste elimination system, like the PIR or post-industrial system is like the process that will be from the producers directly, because the production process might have some reject products. But if it's post-consumer, it means that the packaging after the product has been used. So PIR is within the production process, but the PIR is the one that is after the consumers have used the products. So just now we had a question for Kun Bill, right? Has any customers complain about the packaging? If Kun Bill is not here, I would like to answer instead, because I've asked him this as well. He said that many of the stores in the Phuket Old Town area, they're used to it, because the customers, they're used to the alternative, because many stores and restaurants also use these alternatives, so they don't have any problem with that. We have a question from Kun Somjit. Is Kun Somjit still with us? We have a question about working with the community. Is it difficult, and what are the methods that you use to work with the community, and how can you achieve your goals? Well, actually, it's quite difficult, but what we do is that we try to get our staff, or maybe the local administrative authorities, because they are the local people who are used to the people in the community. Actually, in every province, they have the local authorities who work as the disseminator, like, who carry out the operation for the municipality. So actually, in Rayong, we have quite a strong group of people in the local authorities, and they help to support the work very well. When we have like a planning session, we plan out the work together, together with the provincial level officers, and then the municipalities work with us. And then after that, we call in the community as well, and the community representatives, or even the people. Sometimes, they might say that, like, the people, don't really are not really concerned about this. So that's how, we came up with the guidebook or guidelines for how we can gain cooperation from the community so that they will work with us. So I think that all of this is what we said, that we need cooperation from the people. So if we engage them in the thinking process as well, and the activities will be participated by many people. And like for Thai people, it's easy, like if you can gain their cooperation, they will become engaged. Like if they gain the interest and become familiar with them, then you can gain the participation easily from the people. Thank you. So thank you. Like from what we see from your expression, I'm sure that you will be working on this further. In this section, I would like to thank everybody for giving your inputs and sharing your information. I would like to summarize that, like for Thailand, we have a clear direction, and we have support, whether like from administrative support from the national level and from the local level, so that we can bring this concept into action. So at this stage right now, I think we have to quickly, identify where our waste are, where we, how we collect it and how we manage it further. And we can, work together with both the public sector and the private sector, and to find out other ways to further better manage the waste, and also reduce the leakage of the waste into the ocean or the marine system, and also to find alternative materials so that it can be replaced. It can be used to replace plastic containers and materials, food packaging, and other container types. And so these are some of the innovations that we have also found, and people have also tried to contribute into the solving the problem and challenge. But anyhow, even though like we haven't reached our target, which is quite a challenging target for all of us, but it's something that we are still working on, and we are gaining cooperation from everyone. So all these problems is something that it's a reminder to all of us that we have to continue to work harder on this. And I would like to say that for everyone, the information that we got from the Director General of PCD and from our panelists, everyone is saying that it's something, the cooperation is something that we have to carry out and continue to carry on, not only within Thailand, but with our partners in the region and also globally as well. Our time is quite short, so I sorry to all the panelists and who are trying to give us more information, but I would like to thank you, everybody, organizers, panelists, and all our participants who are here with us throughout the whole session. I hope that we will see each other again in the next session. Thank you very much.